guys, Anna here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today we're in the world of Chestnut Ridge, which is the world that came with the Horse Ranch expansion pack, and we are building a 3x2 bedroom home. Yep. And it's kind of in a more modern rustic style. I mean, everything in this world is rustic. That's kind of the theme for the world. But I definitely feel when Horse Ranch came out, there were some assets that were a little bit more modern, and I never really built with them. I think I've built one particular build which is not on my channel, but it is on my gallery, and I may repurpose that content one day and try to recreate it for you guys, just because it is such a beautiful build. And that particular one does have use of some of the modern assets, but this particular build is definitely all modern, and it is in a very kind of light scale. So it's I guess it's monochromatic in a way, but it does use a little bit of grey as opposed to just white and black. But it is very reminiscent of the build that, I forget the sim's name, but it's the sim that you go to that holds all of the, she's like the horse racing trainer. I forget her name. But yeah, she lives in kind of the central part of the world in that neighborhood, and she has a home that is very, it's not the same, it's definitely not the same, but it is a 1-story kind of multi-bedroomed lot home in this kind of modern style. It has this same roofing, and it uses a lot of the kind of modern windows that we got with Horse Ranch that you're seeing here. A lot of those kind of glass windows. And I wanted to use that. I kind of pulled a little bit of inspiration from that build, and I just wanted to create something that was a little my own. I've still gone in with a little bit of the stone that came with the pack. This kind of dark rustic stone. I thought this was good way to break some of the sliding that I used. I think I just used some of the sliding that came with the pack. I believe I carry this sliding into the interior as well. I just really struggled with wallpaper in terms of like what color scheme I wanted to go with. The floor plan itself, I believe I did this one on grid paper, so I kind of have it mapped out as per standard Anna build. So you walk in and you basically have essentially 2 wings. So the left side of the build is all of your kitchen, dining and living, and then the right side is all of those bedrooms, and I believe we have a bathroom as well. I think, yes, we have a bathroom as well. Now, the floor plan on this was a little bit tricky because of the bump outs. So these bump outs that you can see in the kitchen and dining space, they weren't very wide, and they were kind of a little bit awkwardly placed to how I wanted to set everything out. So this particular layout in the front part of the house is not my favorite. I think that the dining table is quite nice where it is, but the kitchen is very crammed, and in the end I did end up putting in a laundry. So you have your kitchen, you then have that room that's just exactly like next door to it, and that is a laundry, and then that wraps around into a formal dining area. And there's a little bit, I had some issues with the spandrels there, but that's okay, we fixed it. And that leads into the living space. You then have a hallway that then goes through some barn doors into another hallway, which is where all the bedrooms are. I think you have I think we have a child's room that has like a bunk bed and a desk, and you then have a twin child's room, and then you have the master bedroom from memory. So yeah, definitely a lot of space in this particular build. I've mentioned it before on the channel. Horse Ranch comes with such a great build and buy catalog, so many objects, and we just got like, you know, you got a kitchen set, you got a bedroom set, you got a bath set. I think we got some bathroom items. I don't think we got a toilet, but we got like a shower tub and did we get a tub? Maybe. And a sink. Like, we just got so much with this particular pack. And it's one of my favorites in terms of building. I don't really use the gameplay that often, but in terms of building, it's just a 10 out of 10 for me. I did struggle with the lighting. So initially, as you would have seen when I first started doing the floor plan, I used the kind of black kind of pendant type style lighting throughout the build because I wanted to use different lighting. I always use the base game source lights and then I never change them. It's always the one detail in a build that I forget to change. Which I'm sure it kind of irritates some people. I remember having one person comment on a video saying that my light placement was irritating. So that's interesting. But anyway, I attempted to use different lights and it just was so dark in here. I did add some chandelier type lights in the living room and the dining, which did help. But I think in the end, I went back to my source lights because it was just so dark and you couldn't see. All right, so we did just kind of brush over the laundry. I could have used a wash tub. This is 100% the type of build that could have had a wash tub, but I didn't. I put a washing machine. I don't know if that's because it's like ease, but also like it's more modern that way. I'm not sure, but I really loved the kind of mudroom items that also came with the pack. So it had a lot of like cabinets, and I really like the kind of brush and the mop bucket items. So I add that in there. So it's a really lovely space. We are just adding in the wallpaper for the house in general. And I wanted to pair, obviously, the vertical, like, I don't know, sliding with the kind of focal accent rock stone wallpaper. It's not extremely practical because, you know, if you think about it, you're not going to have certain stone walls and then... But anyway, it looks nice in The Sims and I like it. We did kind of brush over the living room, but I really love that space. I think that the white swatch with the blue print really makes the actual couch set stand out. I love that couch set that came with Horse Ranch. I think the texture is really nice on that couch set. So I've used it. And there's just something so like clean about this house. I really enjoy it. Even though it pairs kind of like the dark colors of like grey and black with a little bit of like the brown and the white, and it just with pops of color like blue or yellow. And I really like it. It definitely has more of a modern feel to, say, if I was to build... What else did I build? It's interesting. So when Horse Ranch came out, I wasn't actually actively posting on YouTube. And I built some really wonderful builds. And I really should like repurpose that content because they were some of the most lovely builds I've ever built. And yeah, you definitely had different styles of homes that you could build with the Horse Ranch pack. So yeah, I really like it. What else can we talk about with this particular build? I am just going in, making sure that there is enough windows. It took me a long time to do the exterior of this build. The roofing took a really long time because I had these bump outs and I wanted it to be kind of... I just wanted it to like make sense. All right, this is definitely something that I pulled inspiration from the original build that I mentioned. It has, so you've got this is a stable for where the horse will be, obviously, but it had this little outdoor section that had like the nectar making press and equipment tacked onto the side of the stable. I really liked this, so I've gone ahead and done that with this particular stable, and I've just gone and used the pathing that's from Horse Ranch inside the stable and on that outer bit, and we are just going in with the windows. I did want to use the modern windows, but I really liked how this particular like open window looked from the front, and I thought that was really important to use. And then we just go in with the standard stable items. So you've got the horse bed. I've gone with the rocking chair. We put the net to press outside. It's just some wall hanging pieces. Lots of that kind of decor items, that like the wine bottles. I just love all that stuff. Even in a non horse ranch build, I still think that the wine bottles and all of that kind of decorative stuff, look, it actually fits a lot of builds. And it's funny how horse ranch does kind of go with a lot of other builds. All right, so we are now working on the, I guess you could say, the landscaping. I've gone in with that kind of reef piece just as like a decoration to the front of the build, because I wanted to add a little pop of color, because it is very kind of I don't want to say monochromatic because there is browns, but it feels like it's very monochromatic. Yeah. So you'll have to let me know in the comment section down below, what are your thoughts so far on this particular build? Do you play in Chestnut Ridge quite a lot? And if so, do you prefer like having a big ranch, or do you prefer these like little bitty builds? I kind of like a mixture in between, because I really liked this particular build. So this particular build is in the lower right hand side of the neighborhood. I forget the name of the word. Is it Ryder's Glen? I want to say it's Ryder's Glen. I feel like that's what it is. Anyway, I like this because next door to this build, you've got like the horse training. You've got like a horse training obstacle, and that was really useful because it meant that I didn't have to put it on my lot because it's on the neighboring lot, and that helped in terms of, you know, things like that. I like to put in a bit of gardening. I've used the gardening plots that came with Cottage Living. I actually prefer them. I think the growing oversized vegetables is just easier in the game. I don't know about you guys, but when I grow like flowers, I start with a small area of flowers and then it just gets big, and then my sim is spending a whole work day just mending the garden. I always get too like excited and just go overboard with it. I don't know if anyone else plays The Sims like that, but that's just what happens in mine. It's either we get a lot of plants or my sim has a lot of children. It's like there's no in between. Plants or children. Okay, back to the landscaping. Very basic. I've said this before. Sometimes when I have I use a darker color in the exterior wallpaper, I like to use very light and bright flowers, so just white and greenery, because it makes the building pop a little bit more. I have gone in with the fencing that came with the pack just to kind of fence the main front area of this particular build. We do have a little bit of furniture at the back, but there really is nothing really going on because this house really does take up a large portion of this lot. And I remember when I was playing with Horse Ranch for the first time, I didn't realize how much space you actually need to have a horse. They actually need a decent amount of space to run around and like, I guess, move. I guess like with the animation of having the horse. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't super cluttered so that you could play in this particular build. Speaking of playing in this particular build, it is available on the Sims 4 gallery. My gallery ID is Antoinette.44. It is in the description below if needed. So yeah, this build and all of the builds from this month are there. Alright, so I had to rearrange some things because I wanted to use the grill that came with the pack and just do like some picnic seating, because I know they have some kind of event, I think, in Horse Ranch. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a community event or something. All right. Anyway, we are in the downstairs bathroom. So yeah, just very basic in here. I've used the Horse Ranch sink and the shower. This was a weird bathroom because I didn't know. I originally started with like a black flooring, but it just didn't suit the assets that came with Horse Ranch, so I pulled it back and used like a beige color. I believe we are starting with the bedrooms. I love the bedroom sets that have come with Horse Ranch, both beds, the double and the single. I love the bedspreads. I think they're great for both like adult spaces and also children's spaces. Those really cute little sheep swatches and things like that, and little horses. Oh, so cute. Just really love the types of bedrooms that you can create. I've gone in with a hanging piece, with a rocking chair. The bedspread is very reminiscent of the swatch we use for the dining chairs and the other chairs around the build. I've used a painting, the desk that comes with Horse Ranch, the mirror that comes with Horse Ranch. A pretty standard bedroom, I would say. We've gone in with the chandelier in here. Just as I said, I was having issues with lighting. It just felt really dark. And even looking back onto this particular build, the white on white, it is a bit like interesting. It's not something I would normally do, but I think it works in this space. You'll have to let me know in the comment section down below. These kind of quilted patchwork wall hanging decor pieces that came with this pack, I really enjoyed, and I can't remember using them a ton, but I think that in this particular build, it really works. Oh, hang on a minute. We might be doing a 4x2. Scratch that. This is a 4x2 bedroom home. I'm thinking to myself, no, that's an infant's room. Okay, so it is a 4x2 because we do have a ensuite for the master bedroom, which I think I accidentally forgot to furnish, which is interesting. So what would have happened is I would have been doing the tour, which you'll see at the end of this particular build, and I did forget to furnish the ensuite, but I think I remembered to decorate it before I uploaded it to the gallery. So it will be uploaded on the gallery with this second bathroom, but for some reason I forgot to film it. I forgot to build it, decorate it. So that's great. Anyway, back to the build. So we just kind of glossed over that infant's room, very standard infant's room. I definitely used those little rugs that I really love that had like the horses and the sheep on them. And this is the first child's room. So I used the bunk bed that came with the kit. Not a kit, it's an expansion pack. I really loved that dollhouse that we got with the pack. I've used the dresser, which is really nice, the desk. And I've just gone in with some kind of horse-related decor pieces. I think I have a thing where I just give a color scheme for like the children's room. So that was yellow. The other one was blue. This one's kind of like greenish and blue, I guess. I don't know. This is like a twin space bedroom, and I really like it. I put like the little toy box that comes with base game. These plants, I forget what pack they come out with. I think it's either Dine Out. I want to say it's Dine Out, but I've used it a ton because it does have that kind of rustic feel to it. Okay, so we are just finishing up the final touches. That was the final bedroom. So yes, this is a 4x2. Yeah. So I've repurposed the bookshelf that came with what's that pack called? Basement Treasure Kit. What else have we got? Putting in a buffet table, just cluttering the space. There were a lot of hallways in this particular build, and I think that's the downside of having a one-story build, is that you do tend to have a lot of hallways, and I never know what to put in them. But I think I've utilized the space fairly well. And I'm just doing the final touches in terms of wallpapers and rugs. I think I do need to put a painting of some sort on this wall. It looks a bit bare. I found this kind of like wall decor that I thought would be good in the boys' room. I guess I kind of referred to it as the boys' room. All right, we are live in game and we are going through the tour. So you enter in through this hallway and this entryway, really lovely space. I've got the nectar barrels, storage barrels, into the living room. So you have a computer, little study nook, and you have obviously the living room. I don't have a TV in this particular build, which I think is okay. You enter into the kitchen and dining space. I love this space. I think that it's got a ton of light. I really enjoy that living room. We did kind of miss the laundry, so I hope we go back to it. But that was the downstairs bathroom, the infant's room, the master bedroom. As I said, I forgot that ensuite. And the twin child's room. And the final room, which we forget as well, which is the yellow room, which was the child's room. And we go into the horse's stable. Really lovely in there. And yeah, that is the build today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today and watching today's video. If you like what you saw, like and leave a comment. And if you really enjoy this type of content, please consider subscribing. I do a ton of videos. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye for now.